So welcome back. The Ben had a few issues with our A959. The motor finally gave up the ghost, and there it is there, tiny little thing. The shaft on that keeps coming in and out and it doesn't sound good. So we needed some new electronics, but we didn't have any spare A959 bits around. A959 gets a 144 transplant. So there it is. Nice big the 144 motor in. You've got to use the 27 tooth pinion that comes with it. That's a 550 motor mount adjustable one, and that's the ESC plus the servo. But the servo, this is where like I need to do a little bit of work. I'll try and hold the phone a bit better. So this bottom pin on the motor sticks out, so I had to desolder that, bend the pin upright, and then you can just fit the servo in. Sorry, but when you're fitting the servo in, I've had to cut like the top of the servo mount off, so it's only got the one side that screws in, but obviously double-sided sticky tape on there and it holds it down absolutely fine. But so that's kind of the transplant over with. But I've just realised she's bent the shock shaft at the back there, that's pretty bent up, and she's also snapped the tower, the suspension tower, so we're going to be changing that out. Got the metal bits there, so we'll be putting metal bits on, and we'll be sorting the shock out as well. So if you're interested in this, stick around and I'll show you a few little bits. We'll just go straight for the front shock mount, because that hasn't got any problems with it. So even if you've got the A959, because that's what this bumper's off, it's the truck one, you should still be able to get your screwdriver through there, and you should still be able to get that screw just on the angle through there. So you don't have to remove the front bumper or anything like that. So I'm just going to release the two top screws from the shocks themselves, and then I'll get in, release them 4 screws, and that should be that done pretty much. So I'll not bore you by actually showing you taking the screws out, but obviously here we are. That one goes straight through, fits nicely. You can actually get that one, like I say, just through there absolutely fine. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll get back to you once that's off. So that's the mount off, and what I'm going to do before I fit the metal one back to the car is I'll be putting the posts in first, because it's just too finicky trying to get your screwdrivers in, doesn't matter what size it is. So that's the metal one, I'll put the posts in, that looks fair to me. But one thing to notice, if you can see here, the posts themselves, I'll just take some of the glare out, the posts themselves curve slightly, so if your body's on fitting or they seem a little bit tight, just take your posts out and switch those around, and it'll give you like a mil or two on either side. One little thing to look out for when you're fitting the metal towers are these pins here, the little ball joints for your tie rods. This one here just comes through, as you can see the threads there, so it wouldn't fit on, so you're going to have to just get in there and back that out slightly, and once you back it out, obviously that'll allow you to be able to flit you'll be able to fit the metal shock tower on better and flush. So this is the last screw going in, that's it done. I'm not putting any Loctite on these screws, I'm just nipping them up, because for what it is, it's a tiny little basher, it doesn't rattle itself that much, and they don't come loose on the A959, I don't think, like, for me anyways, it hasn't happened. But that's it, all the screws are replaced, looks nice and sharp. So I'm going to get onto the back one. Obviously this shock needs to come off, and then I'll blabber on about shocks and rebound and what my views are on it. But obviously your car's got to bottom out, yeah, to stop snappages happening up here, like on your shock towers, or it'll break stuff inside the shock. But I feel as though it's a happy balance between the two. So anyways, I'll try and explain a little bit and not get too geeky on you. Just while I'm doing this one, I'll tell you kind of the reason why I've done this. It's not to, I don't know, look good or anything like that. Because we didn't have any spares, she wouldn't drive the 144. She thought the 144 was a bit too quick, and she liked that little A959. So I thought if I could somehow swindle this setup into the car, she'd get used to the speed of the car anyways, and then I could just say to her, well, you've technically been driving the 144 anyways, so do you not just want to try the 144, which she has since had a go of, and she wants one. But that was the plan behind this build, that's why this kind of got created. So yeah, anyways, I'll get back to you once I've got this off, changed, and I'll talk to you about the shock. So this is the bent one. I haven't got a clue what she's been up to, but if I turn that, You can see how much of a twist that's got on it. So I'll take this one apart, I'll straighten the shaft out. I'll obviously, if you're having trouble getting these apart, I just generally wrap a bit of tissue paper around the shaft, get it with my needle nose pliers, give it a little bit of a grab, and that's generally enough for that to come off. And it doesn't kind of maw your shaft up or anything like that. So if that was in focus when I done that, it was nice and simple, just with a bit of tissue paper. But anyways, I'll straighten that and I'll set that with Rebound, and I'll explain to you this shock here, what I've done. So if I push that in, it'll stop there because this shock's got like a rubber bung in it. So when it goes up to there, it pushes against the top of the piston. But this has got no rebound in it. So if I pull it out and push it up to where it would have went, it doesn't come back down. So that's no rebound. In this shock here, it'll just rely on the spring tension to keep it coming down, but it works kind of in the opposite way, if you get what I mean. It'll dampen the spring more as the spring's coming up and down, if this kind of makes sense. So I'll straighten this one out. You've seen how easy that was to get off, and it'll be just the same to put back on. Anyways, if you're taking one of these apart, if you've got quite a severe bend in it like I have, this and it won't go through, don't force it, right? Just think this hole here is actually further away because there's another hole in here. So there's a kind of little bit of a tip, I guess, would be take that off. Damn that thumb. Take that off. Get your O-rings out as best you can. And then what that does is, it kind of allows you now, without as much force, to just be able to slightly pop that out. And then it doesn't damage inside of there. You don't want to damage inside of there, even though you have got O-rings on the outside. But that's my little tip for when you're getting it apart. So here's another like kind of top tip, I'd say. My poor man's lathe comes back into play. So what you want to do is look for your bend in your shaft, obviously. And what you can do is you can kind of key this round like you can do on a lathe, and you'll be able to find your bend in it. And then all you do is take something with a rubber end and then just give it a little tap one way and give it a little turn, and you can just see where the bend is again. So just bring it round a little bit, give it one more little tap like that, if that's in focus, sorry. And then that will hopefully straighten things up a bit, but I need a little tap there. Oh yeah, that's looking way better. So I mean, for a little basher, that's a good way to just fix a shock in it, you know what I mean, without buying new shocks. So while I'm mucking on with this, I've just remembered something. So as you can see, that's the piston there, and it's got two little holes in. And if there was other two holes on the other side, if I wanted to, I could drill those out theoretically. If I do that though, it'll totally muck up the spring rate on this. If you're doing speed running and stuff like that, you want to be careful. So when you're setting up rebound within the shock compared to rebound with the spring rate, it kind of all adds up as to keeping the wheel in and not making the car such a jarry style car. You want the car to work, and you do want the car to sit down in the road. But yeah, anyways, I just thought I'd point that out while I was on this, and it's almost like a little caveat to watching out for when you drill your pistons, like I say, because if you drill those out too much, then it's just going to bounce all over on you, because the spring will probably take over, or you're going to have to go from light oil to thicker oil, and then you're just causing yourself a nightmare as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, stick around guys, and hopefully we'll see a difference in between Rebound. I keep repeating myself, but we'll see if we can see a difference. So I'm just putting it back together, and there's two little E-clips. There's an E-clip on the bottom, if I can get that in focus, E-clip there and an E-clip on the top. But if you look at the amount of play, so if I held that still and that was inside like the actual body of the shock, that's how much play is in that. So I mean, if we can take some of that out, that can only be beneficial, as long as we didn't block the holes. But I haven't got anything on us, I was just pointing that out. So I know that I've seen that little bit play obviously in the piston cup. So what I've managed to do is I found some M2 washers that are the same outer diameter as the E-clip, so it doesn't affect the holes. As you can see there, it would just be exactly the same size. and what I've done is I've punched them out to 2.5mm. So I'll see if I can do one here for you, just by using the plastic, obviously because this one's broke anyways. So I've just rested it on there. Sorry but the drill is involved, so turn it down in a minute guys. Nice and fast, so it punches through into the plastic first. Right, once it's punched through into the plastic and it's just on the drill bit like that, I get, if I can find them again, so I get me needle nose pliers, and what I'll do is I'll just speed it up and I'll just let that slide over there. I probably won't be able to do this on camera, but anyways, I'll just grab that and I'll go up and down on here and I'll show you. So I've done that, and when it comes off the drill it's going to have a slight indentation, so just put it up on the desk upside down and just knock it flat again. A few taps will do, slide straight over there. So what I'll do is I'll take the top E-clip off, remove the piston, I'll put that on the bottom E-clip, so obviously the E-clip's holding that on, and then replace everything. So that'll be for the other shock, because I've already done this one, like I said. Yeah, it's nice and straight too, so I'll get back to you once I've built it. Like I was rambling before, I'll build it all and I'll show you the differences between the Rebound. So this is both the shocks done now. Just to keep things simple, because the video's dragging on a little bit, sorry guys. When you're setting Rebound, obviously take into account the size of the bung in the top. So if you want full Rebound, have your shock all the way out, your piston all the way out, sorry, fill up just enough so that piston's got negative space to fill into and tighten on, and that'll give you full Rebound like that, if you can see that. And it comes all the way out, and it should hit all the way to the top as well without locking. When you're setting 0 Rebound, same thing, I'll fill up with the shock, with the shaft down, I still fill up like that, but then I raise it up with my finger and I'll pinch it with my hand like that, so it's raised up, and screw my cap on. But I don't let the oil, when this is raised up, I make sure the oil isn't anywhere near the height of the piston, so that rubber bung is purely that negative reaction, so it's a dead shock in all purposes. It doesn't come all the way out like that other shock. So when you put your spring on anyways, to me, this should make the difference in like, well, obviously how fast it goes back down to the road. That's the whole thing, isn't it, on a real car, but we're talking kind of micro mechanics. And so that's them done, and straight away you can tell that which one's which. I mean, one's got a nice smooth up and down, it feels so plush going up, and coming down's nice into your finger. This one here, you can feel pressure kind of going up, and then it wants to kick coming down. It really does want to punch that spring back down. So I know fine well, even if I was to mix these up, if I hadn't done them, I could probably pick out which one is got Rebound in it. And you can't really tell on camera, actually, I'm sorry, but it's more in person that you can. So that there's like full Rebound in the shock plus the rebound rate of the spring. I don't know, you might be able to actually tell there, like. So this is the one with Rebound, and then the one without Rebound. Let us know in the comments if you see a difference, but anyways, that's pretty much me done for this video. I've just got to add them back to the car. The car's done. There it is there with the rear shock mount on and the 144 inside. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Sorry that's been a bit of a long-winded one. It was pretty much, the shocks really were important to kind of explain some things on shocks really more importantly. And as you can tell, the bend, which one had the bend? It's hard to tell which one was bent on it. So poor man's lathe, what are the tips? Can't remember. Almost forgot. Before I go, I've got to let you guys see it, so obviously to prove that it works and stuff. So the servo there doesn't move when you're doing the steering, it's nice and steady. and I'll just let it dangle out the way for a second. Yeah. So what I've done on the back as well is one, obviously I'd done the test so I could potentially see, I'm not too sure if you could see, but what I've done is I've put rebound in both of them with the spring as well, obviously the spring rate, just for bashing, and it'll still bottom out on a jump, but obviously it just gives that back end more of a kick up first. But anyways guys, if any of that made sense to you, like, comment, share and subscribe, and as always, catch you on the next one.